guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
Yeah, okay, so all the audio is on.
We're live?
We're live. Sorry for listeners. It's like we just learned about all this news and stuff, so we're kind of like in a chaos. You guys, please stay with us.
We are. No chat, no cat.
Hey, so yeah, Commander X got taken from his location in Mexico to the United States. Hey, so yeah.
It's not me. Well, I think it's gone now, but yeah.
Okay. So yesterday afternoon, two men in uniforms that spoke Mexican Spanish came up to the residence where Commander X had just been moved to. There were only like the landlady and Friends of X committee down in Mexico knew where the place was. Two men in uniform showed up, flashed some credentials at the landlord and the landlady, and she said, "Yeah, I'd fuck off if you don't have a warrant," basically. So they left, and so X called the Friends of X committee, woman down in Mexico City, and then his lawyer, also in Mexico City, was speaking to his lawyer, and the two dudes came back, this time in plainclothes, jumped the fence, broke into the house, and the last thing that the lawyer heard was the men asking him to identify himself, and then the phone call got cut. So they had to go through the Office of Extortion and Kidnapping to find out that he'd been taken directly to immigration, and at this point it's assumed, like, his lawyer has been told by the Mexican side of immigration that he's in the U.S. The U.S. State Department, U.S. Border Patrol or ICE, and none of the three-letter agencies are getting back to his lawyer, and won't be at least until Monday. That's about the extent of what we know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because we didn't hear so much, and it's been 24 hours. So we set up this whole defense campaign thing. Mainly.
I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the statement from.
Yeah. Yeah. The main reason to put up the defense campaign now is because we don't know what's going on with him, and it isn't necessarily like the United States has a very good reputation on treating prisoners. So to avoid anything unconstitutional or something to be done to him, it matters a lot that we have our eyes on this case, right? Just to be sure.
Yeah, and just that we get the word out. I mean, the more we can spread the word for him, at least the greater chance we have of ensuring that there's, I don't know, less horrible treatment for him. It sounds grim, but we kind of gotta get the word out about this.
Well, and here's the thing, like, this is something that other news agencies need to be aware of. This is because Commander X got political asylum in Mexico. He had refugee status. He's a recognized asylee in the country. And just recently, a documentary about him came out. Just recently, he popped back up as Commander X. We gave him what he thought was his last interview over a year ago now.
It was like at the beginning of this year, I think.
Huh?
It was like at the beginning of this year, I think, because it was after the January 6th madness.
Was it? I don't even remember.
Yeah, it was when you got back from DC, because I remember we were talking about how we hacked into the elections, and basically, you know, like you said, we thought that would be his last interview, but then, you know, fast forward a couple months, and he jumps back into the sphere. He gets his Twitter back. He says that he's ready to start streaming again and start helping boost, like, you know, local activism in Santa Cruz, and helping spread word of other Anon ops. Like, at the time he came back, a lot of the everything between Palestine and the Zionist occupational genocide regime was popping off. So he was helping spread info about that and all kinds of other stuff. So, you know, just as kind of he was really feeling better and kind of getting back into it, that's when this happened. And there's some other stuff surrounding it, but
I mean, we've got a guy who, like, just came back into feeling good enough to talk shit on the internet with his friends again. And yeah, swooped up and sitting somewhere, and everything about this, like, dude, it seems fucking like set up, you know? Like, I don't. Sucks.
Yeah, it's definitely strange for sure.
So like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. No, like, what if there was like a I don't know if he like pissed somebody off in town or what, dude. Like, it's X, you know. Hope the guy didn't get too comfortable. You know what I mean? Like, fucking talk some shit, dude. It's weird. It's weird. Because there's really no incentive for the Mexican government to like stand up to the U.S. on this.
No, there isn't. And I mean, especially with them pulling that, that kind of slick shit with Julian, where they basically offered him asylum right before his fucking bail hearing, which was ultimately used against him as it helped the prosecution paint him as a freaking flight risk. So.
Well, and Kamala Harris is heading to Mexico. Documentary just came out. X just came back on as Commander X. The only places he was streaming were YouTube and Twitch. Like,
he was helping broadcast the Freedom Camp in Santa Cruz. Wow.
Yeah.
And he had just had that guy on from Food Not Bombs too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've like successfully got Wi-Fi to the homeless camp in Santa Cruz, and now they can live stream when the cops come in, so the cops aren't coming in.
And then this happens, right?
And then this happens, yeah. And Keith said he was getting fucking, well, he knows he knows he's like mostly surveilled, but he said that there were people at the county that were starting to act really different towards him all of a sudden just in the last like month.
Okay, that's suspicious too. Hey, but we don't know who actually took him. Like we assume it's immigration, right? Or
well, that's what his lawyer was told.
Okay.
His lawyer said because she went to extortion and kidnapping. And extortion and kidnapping said yes, he was here. We took him to immigration. They were able to talk to X yesterday. X was like, yeah, no, good. And they told his lawyer, come by with your injunction on Monday and we'll finish sorting this out. And in the interspersing time, probably right after they left, to be perfectly honest, U.S. immigration came in, grabbed him, and took him.
Okay.
And so, what are what is his lawyer doing now about it? Like, is he like trying to? Do you know anything about that? Is he like trying to get more information? What is like the next steps she's going to take? Like, because like he's going to need legal support in the U.S. now.
Yeah. You know what? Wow. Since we're live, I'll see if I can. I'll see if she's up. And while there's dead air, maybe somebody should say words.
Yeah, okay. Well, I can repeat real fast. You have to. You can follow the support account on Twitter. It's Free Commander X _. So it's Free Commander X with an underscore at the end because the other one was already taken.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Or search for the hashtag Free Commander X. You'll find it too.
Yeah, you'll find a lot of the recent ones.
Yeah. And that Twitter account just collects all the tweets about the situation. There's more come in and more support. Now, regardless of how you feel about a Commander X, he has been with our movement for a very long time, and he's got many friends, some enemies. Fact is, we don't know what's happening to him right now, and you know that even like I said before, like even the worst criminals have like an open trial where you can see what's happening. But this guy has been taken, and we don't know where he is. We know he's been there at immigration, and we don't know where he's taken to. And so this defense campaign, we do this because we want to put our eyes on the USA system, so it might speed things up to know what's going on, and it makes sure that nothing unconstitutional happens to the guy, right? So whether you support Commander X or not, whether you feel he's a great guy or not, it doesn't really matter. What matters is people get a fair trial, right, and are treated as human beings. You can't have them disappear into like, yeah, whatever, and no one knows where he is. Right? This is just not possible. So,
well, and again, I mean, this is someone who was a refugee.
Yeah.
He was the first online activist to get political asylum. He successfully evaded the FBI for 10 years and frequently reminded them that he was.
Yes. OPSEC.
I mean,
OPSEC masterclass.
he, like, if anyone had a reason to be like, oh god damn it, this guy, it was the FBI. So, and if anybody was like, I hope this guy gets got, it was the FBI. I don't normally find myself on the side of the FBI, and I certainly don't in this situation. That's all I gotta say about the detractors. Like, you know you wouldn't want it to be you. You know you wouldn't. But I mean, they're it's the FBI's got a long memory, is what I'm saying. The FBI had a lot of reasons to fucking, like, feel jaded and maybe even justified given the Biden administration's recent sort of sights being set on hackers, not necessarily cyber activists, but hackers in general. And they got a pretty broad description of what that means, and they definitely incorporate digital activism in what they consider criminal hacking. I mean, for fuck's sake, they'll go after him for the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, which we just talked about the other week with Greg. Hey, Greg, I do hope you at least watched the opening bit and got this part. I'll follow up with you tomorrow. But that's the law that Congress made after the movie War Games scared them. And that determines most of the laws that govern behavior on the internet.
Yeah, it's also a law where they believe they're allowed to do pretty much anything to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is honestly just morally wrong.
And wasn't it about like something that happened like 10 years ago? It's under CFAA. Isn't there like an expiry? What is it?
No, not since the Patriot Act. Statute of limitations doesn't really exist anymore. Certainly not for felonies, and in many cases, not even for misdemeanors. Especially if it's a warrant.
Damn.
Especially if it's a warrant. I can testify to that.
Okay.
I'd do like 90 days, like go over a decade ago for a fucking 20-some-year-old warrant. A pre-9/11 warrant.
Oh my god.
And even then, they're like, nope, Patriot Act, it's real. Get in the fucking van. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, the FBI has a long memory. They got a really broad description of what they think crime is. Nobody gives a fuck what the U.S. government does.
Yeah. So if you're listening to this, reach out to media, alternative media, to cover this. We need to give as much attention as possible to this. There are people you know on Twitter or other social media. Just reach out to them and explain them what's going on. Whether you, like I said, whether you like him or not, we're dealing with a person. We don't know what's happening to him right now, and we at least need to go beyond that. We need to fix that situation. We know exactly what's going on, and then we can think about further steps, like how his defense can be organized, and all these things. And so we had lawyers in Mexico, right? But I don't know who his lawyer in the USA is. I know Jay Lederman used to do it. We already messaged him. Waiting for a reply from him. I'm not sure if he's active now, but...
Well, and I mean, Kevin would have, but he just passed away.
Yeah. Well, Jay has been on with us before, but... You know,
I'll probably be in at least a couple of rooms with some fairly connected people over the Home Run for Dueling tour. I will definitely be lawyer scoping.
Yeah, because if anything, Commander X has been like a very vocal advocate for Julian Assange, and he's always supported WikiLeaks in that sense, and he did a lot of effort to speak out for Assange's rights.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it was one of the last shows he did before getting kidnapped. Was the Julian Assange show.
Yeah.
With me and a couple other people.
X wanted to hang out with some pretty girls on a Saturday afternoon. So
Oh goodness.
all of them.
Oh goodness, Steve.
Learn how to take a compliment, Jones.
Should tell you the same thing.
I'm working on it.
Well, I'm working on it.
One day at a time.
You have to sound so bad when you say you're working on it. Just, yeah. We've delved into Goofy, and this is serious. Shit. Fucking pigs, dude. I'm so pissed.
Yeah, it's disgusting, right?
We will absolutely be back when we have more. For the time being, I'll pull up the Twitter account. I think this is the Twitter account. Where's the Twitter account?
Free Commander X
Yeah.
underscore.
Yeah, well, we're putting attention on it now, so more information will come in very soon. Expect.
Yeah.
We'll probably go live about this within like 24 hours and like give like full updates. Guess we need to discuss with his lawyers too what we can do. Yeah, on the screen you guys see the Free Commander X Twitter, and that explains it all.
Free Commander X underscore. Please go follow that account. Probably set it for push notifications if you ever want to see it again. Because I have a feeling that's going to be fairly shadow banned.
The account was created about like an hour ago probably, and already the graphic basically explaining X's situation is getting hidden by Twitter because it contains potentially sensitive material.
Yeah.
Jesus.
The other one too.
For sure.
That other post too, by the way.
It says the word fuck in it, and that's what they're gonna say. That's why they had to hide it.
Yeah.
Go rattle the cages of people with larger platforms.
Definitely share it as much as possible, for sure.
Yeah. We'll be back tomorrow at some point when we know more. I honestly don't know what or how much anyone in Mexico can do for X at this point. Like, the Mexican government would have had to at some point have signed off on this. And that's all, that to what extent and whether or not it was planned out and how long and how that happened and what, all, no fucking idea. May not ever get that kind of information. May not. Which would suck, to be honest. But it may have, what we can do is try and figure out where the fuck he's at now and continue what we're doing with a defense campaign and a defense fund and just general raising the alarm and raising awareness, because this is some fucking bullshit.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay, so yeah, we can just repeat it again. So two people in Mexico, they came to his location in Mexico, first like in uniforms, and the lady said for them to leave unless they had a warrant. And later on, they came back in like civilian clothing, and they pretty much took Commander X away to the USA. And immigration confirmed that he was at least there. That's pretty much what we know, right?
Yeah. Well, his attorney spoke to him yesterday afternoon, evening.
In Mexico, right?
In Mexico. At Mexican immigration.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah, I'm good. And they told her, we'll, come by with your injunction. They were going to get a stay of extradition until they figured out what the fuck happened. Nobody was going to help anybody until Monday, is what everybody was told.
Okay.
And then like immediately after or sometime after, because by the time they fucking called this morning, the U.S. immigration or who the fuck ever from the U.S. came and picked him up and took him to the U.S.
It's an insane story again. Like, okay, so that's pretty much all we know right now. Please follow that Twitter account and share the post as much as possible and reach out to people. You can share this show too because it has like a link to the Twitter and everything. So
Yeah, and in the description right now, and I'll go ahead and put in the description before we get out of here, there's a link to the current fundraiser, and I will make sure that the Twitter account and the Hive article get thrown in there as well.
yeah, I have done, published an article on anonymousworldwide.com too about it. Yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. It needs a lot of sharing around and use quote tweets because, we just said, there's going to be a lot of shadow banning again. So make your own tweets and link to Twitter, make quote tweets, and that's how you avoid it. Use a hashtag #FreeCommanderX or FreeX is also a good one. And then within 24 hours, I think we can promise that at least in 24 hours we'll give some new information about the case, I guess.
Oh yeah, yeah. We'll definitely know some more by then. Okay.
Alright.
And that's being updated right now. Okay, guys. We'll let you know as soon as we do. Spay and neuter all your pets and politicians.
Dude.
Interact. Fuck.
Yeah. Fuck's sake.
Okay, we'll end the stream now. Please share it around and FreeCommanderX hashtag. Bye bye.
Yes, please. Free